for Upper Michigan, David Pfaff, Carl Bonet. This is your Fox UP News in prime time.
Instead of waiting for the upcoming Senate bill prohibiting the sale of synthetic marijuana or spice, the Iron Mountain City Council has taken action now. The City Council imposed a moratorium tonight that prohibits the opening of any establishments that sell products that mimic the effects of controlled drugs. Spice, or K2 as it's sometimes called, falls under this category. Moss Smoke Shop wasn't able to renew the lease on their store, and they were forced to move at the beginning of December. This moratorium prohibits them from opening a store anywhere within the city limits.
The council, with feedback from residents that were concerned about the herbal incense potpourri issue, took it with an ad hoc committee to try to look at what could be done, and the best place to look was a zoning ordinance.
The moratorium will remain in effect for 180 days. The City Council is hoping that a bill will pass at the Senate level by that time. The Canadian man accused of trying to entice a young Munising girl into his car entered a not guilty plea in court. Mohammed El Fektali is charged with attempted kidnapping and enticing a child for immoral purposes. El Fektali allegedly tried to abduct a 12-year-old girl while driving through Munising. The detective who questioned him stated El Fektali eventually confessed. A hearing has been scheduled for December 19th to determine if his statement made to police was voluntary. The defense maintained El Fektali was simply asking for directions and was offering the girl a ride home. 600 employees at Cliffs Natural Resources in Marquette County will be out of work in the spring. The news came this morning after one of the company's 5 customers announced a shutdown of a blast furnace for maintenance in 2012. As a result, the company projects 2.7 million tons of ore for 2012, just over half of the 4.6 million tons to be produced this year. According to Cliffs, employees at the Empire Mine will be affected during the maintenance period, which could take several months. The company employs a total of 1,800 workers.
They're actually taking one of their blast furnaces down and doing some maintenance on it, and from time to time that has to be done, just like every other piece of equipment in any other manufacturing facility. Generally, the blast furnaces can last quite a long time without the maintenance, but eventually it has to be done.
The company expects the layoffs to be temporary. You can visit our website at uppermichigansource.com for more information on this story. The DNR UP Advisory Council held a meeting tonight at North Central High School in Powers to introduce new council members and discuss ongoing projects. A request was brought up to consider a free weekend snowmobile or ATV trail usage to encourage people to use the Michigan Trail system. Officials also discussed the deer management program, which allows hunters to take additional antlerless deer. The program was established to help people control crop damage from the animals. Council members have a broader citizen perspective that they try to represent.
It's very much more effective to work through a group such as ours to convey some of their positions to the general public. So I would hope to say that we're becoming important, and hopefully will be more so in the future.
The meetings are held every other month, and the public is encouraged to attend. The United States Postal Service went to the Postal Rate Commission today formally asking for approval to change delivery standards. This is a move that is a precursor to the upcoming USPS overhaul set to happen in March. This change of standards would mean that a first-class piece of mail to take 2 or 3 days to deliver instead of 3 days. This is the first time in 40 years that the USPS won't be able to deliver first-class mail within a day. Postal Press Association President Tony Carbine thinks that UP small businesses will be hit hardest.
Without overnight service, they may have to go to alternative means to get their mail service or whatever other type of products they need mailed, and that's unfortunate.
The UP Mail Processing Center in Kingsford is one of the centers being considered for termination, and it handles all mail delivered to the UP. Michigan Tech University is reporting strong graduate school enrollment. The graduate program is filled with students from over 60 nations. They've also seen an increase in their online programs.
We have a record level of graduate enrollment. We're at 1,303 graduate students this year. We've had an increase of 6.9% in our master's students and an increase of 4.3% in our doctoral students this year.
Last week, Michigan Tech reported that its jobs placement rate has risen to 95%. In politics, Sharon Gray has announced she's a candidate for the 108th District State House seat. Gray of Rapid River is looking to take the seat currently held by Republican State Representative Ed McBroom. Gray, a Democrat, is a newcomer to politics. She's currently working as a public accountant. Protecting working families, senior citizens, and education are among Gray's top priorities if elected. But according to Gray, issue number one is job creation.
The workforce that we have in place here, we need to market that. We do have a skilled workforce in place in Michigan. And I believe that employers and companies that are looking to come here do not base their decisions strictly on taxes.
Gray says she's planning to introduce herself to the electorate by going door to door, meeting as many people as she can before next year's election. Every year, fire crews battle an estimated 400 house fires nationwide involving a Christmas tree or holiday lights. Now that we're well into the holiday season, fire departments remind people to be extra careful around their homes. They say you should never keep your Christmas tree in your home for more than 2 weeks, and it should be watered often to avoid a fire. They also suggest using LED lights instead of incandescent because they emit cooler exterior temperatures that are less likely to start a fire. The most important thing to remember is not to leave safety hazards unattended.
It's a hard time of year because we're so busy and sometimes we overlook things. So if you just try to, step back and try to just kind of, take a second look at things, it makes a difference. So.
For a link to a full safety checklist, visit our website, uppermichigansource.com. A group of Marquette young professionals is looking to lend a hand to those in need this holiday season. Below 40 is an organization of working professionals aged 20 to 40 years old. Until now, the group functions solely as a networking society, but this season they're branching out. They've adopted a family in need and will be hosting a drive called The Gift of Giving to provide food and holiday gifts.
Our group is primarily focused on getting together and networking within ourselves, and we haven't really had that give back aspect. So we thought this is something that we can tackle to see if there can be more things that we could do then to help better our community.
The group will be meeting at Buffalo Wild Wings tomorrow to collect and wrap gifts for the family. Buffalo Wild Wings will sponsor the event and provide appetizers. If you're interested in helping the family or joining the group, visit our website, uppermichigansource.com. Our Daily Pulse question deals with holiday greetings. You often hear Merry Christmas and Hollywood classics, but today many people say Happy Holidays. The change is extended to numerous retailers as well. Tonight, the Daily Pulse, we're asking, which seasonal greeting do you say? Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays? You can always participate in the Daily Pulse by going to our website, uppermichigansource.com. We'll announce the results of tonight's question at the end of the newscast. Coming up tonight on Fox UP News, a new report shows Michigan's economy is continuing to take slow steps toward recovery. We'll have the details. And President Obama plans to become personally involved in trying to talk Congress into extending the payroll tax cut. The latest from Washington next.
This is meteorologist Carl Bonak. Snow over the weekend, not for everyone. On the east end, Newberry, nothing. In fact, there was no snow over the southeastern, about third of the Upper Peninsula, none at Escanaba or Manistee. 3.8 though at Chatham in western Alger County, 4.5 at Iron Mountain, 7.6 reported at the National Weather Service site. That's the official report. Only an inch of sloppy snow at Copper Harbor, same in Marquette, but 7.2 at Jacobsville and 9.4 in the high country of Ontonagon County at Rockland. Here's the radar showing light snow showers coming in on Lake Superior, off of Lake Superior. Looks like the coverage is expanding a bit, but it's quite light. You can't see it on the west end, but there is some snow falling in the Copper Country and also around Ironwood. 23 the high, 18 the low so far, just below the long-term average for the 5th. We'll pass along your forecast for the work week in a few minutes.
Cleaning the scale, hard water.
A new report shows Michigan's economy is continuing to take slow steps toward recovery. Comerica Bank said in a report released today, the state's September Economic Activity Index rose 1 point over the month before. The index level is now 24% above the low it hit during the recession and slightly better than its level last year. Unemployment rate dipped to 10.6% in October, but remains tied for third highest nationally with Mississippi. Much of the drop came from fewer residents looking for work. The White House says President Obama will become personally involved in trying to talk Congress into extending the payroll tax cut due to expire at the end of the month. Fox News correspondent Ed Henry has more.
During the super committee fight, Democrats said getting President Obama too heavily involved could blow a deal. On the payroll tax cut, he apparently has no such fear of antagonizing Republicans.
How can you fight tooth and nail to protect high-end tax breaks for the wealthiest Americans, and yet barely lift a finger to prevent taxes going up for 160 million Americans who really need the help?
The only problem is what the president said right before that was not true.
Last week, virtually every Senate Republican voted against that tax cut.
In fact, 20 out of 47 Senate Republicans voted for a payroll tax cut extension last Thursday night. The real story is deeply divided on a compromise.
It's bad economic policy, it's bad tax policy.
The political reality is the president is empowered because a growing number of Republicans admit it will be hard to stop Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid's reshaped plan. The price tag is now down to $185 billion, only applying to employees, not employers. Employees will see the Social Security payroll tax cut trimmed from 6.2% to 3.1%, giving the average family $1,500. Paid for by increasing the fees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac charge mortgage lenders and paring down the surtax on millionaires from 3.2% to 1.9% of gross adjusted income.
Republicans in Congress dismiss it at their peril.
That not-so-subtle political threat may not sit well with even Republican supporters of the tax cut like Susan Collins. She charges the president has not really reached out to Republicans and suggests even a modified version of the surtax on millionaires could face trouble.
He cannot continue to resort to offsets to pay for his proposals that have been repeatedly rejected.
The White House, though, clearly feels their message is finally breaking through, complete with a new prop.
The clock is ticking.
The clock is also ticking on unemployment benefits. The president warning that 1.3 million Americans are about to be left in the cold. Another example of how he frames it, putting Congress on the defensive. At the White House, Ed Henry, Fox News.
Herman Cain today told former staffers his endorsement of a presidential candidate will not likely come in the next several days. On the conference call for campaign staffers, Cain said he would weigh his options carefully and would not rush to endorse one of his former opponents. He credited his policy ideas with pushing other GOP candidates, including Mitt Romney, to be bolder in their plans to overhaul Washington. Cain suspended his campaign Saturday after a series of allegations about sexual misconduct. An Earth-like planet has been discovered, and it could be right for life. Dubbed Kepler-22b, NASA scientists have not yet pulled together a clear picture of the planet's landscape and don't know if it's mostly rocky, gaseous, or of liquid composition, but scientists say it lies in a so-called habitable zone just 600 light years away from Earth. The confirmation was made by NASA's planet-hunting Kepler telescope, which launched in 2009. Scientists say Kepler has detected over 1,000 possible planets, and they say Kepler-22b lies in a region where conditions to maintain life could exist.
Still warm ahead of this front, only a small slice of the country along the east coast down into Florida. It's cold though all the way down into West Texas, where it was snowing today in El Paso, Texas. This high pressure area will dominate. There's a new front that'll bear down on us though. We'll talk about the work week ahead next. Across the Upper Peninsula, temperatures cooling down, 23 at Newberry, still 26 along the shore at Munising, by far the warmest, 21 at Menominee, 14 the cold spot at Iron Mountain, 18 L'Anse, also at Iron River, 19 Ironwood, and 16 Houghton Hancock, 22 on the shore at Copper Harbor. We've got a wind out of the north as high pressure is situated to the north of Lake Superior and then runs down into the plains. Temperatures cold upstream where the skies have cleared cleared, 11 below at Pickle Lake, 10 below at Uppsala, and 9 below zero at this hour, so early at International Falls. There's been a little snow around Detroit tonight, rain to the east around Buffalo up to Burlington, Vermont, where it reached 52 degrees for a high today, and off to the northwest. The next front is barreling through the northwest territories. A lot of high cloudiness, Pacific moisture is moving out ahead of it toward us. Here's our current pattern. We've got a trough of low pressure in the upper atmosphere centered over the central portion of the country, driving the cold air well to the south. It looks like this trough lifts out, but then another one digs in. A very broad cold trough for Thursday should bring in the coldest air of the season, at least so far. Here's the way it looks for tomorrow. High pressure will extend from eastern Canada across the UP into the southwestern U.S. That means we'll have a fair amount of clouds. Tough to get rid of at this time of the year. Maybe a few light snow showers and flurries left in the north, though the winds will start to back around to the west and then southwest as this new front heads toward us. That front should be passing through during the day on Wednesday. Just a chance of a little snow, and then behind it, cold air with a west-northwest wind could be a significant lake effect event starting late Wednesday night, going through Thursday and probably Friday too. Back with more in a moment.
You get it all, an Upper Michigan sports source.
Tomorrow at a glance, here's what we're expecting. It looks like the winds again come around gradually. They'll be backing from the north to the northwest, west, and then southwest by evening. Still some light snow showers and flurries near Lake Superior, though the bands will be shifting around as the wind shifts. Partly cloudy down south, highs generally in the 20s. Your forecast tonight, lows in the lower 20s in places like Munising, with a little bit of snow in the north near Lake Superior. Coldest readings in the interior along the Wisconsin line, 10 maybe even below. Then for tomorrow, look for northwest winds starting to shift around, highs in the 20s with some light snow showers and flurries near Lake Superior. Your Fox 5-day forecast, it turns colder. In fact, it looks like temperatures around 20 degrees for highs both Thursday and Friday. So nothing brutally cold, but chilly nonetheless. And again, there could be significant lake effect snows in the west-northwest snow bands.
Winter definitely making its presence known, consistently 20s for the rest of the week.
Right, that's the way it looks, and there still isn't a good snow cover out east in places like Newberry, though they should get some before the week is out.
All right, thank you very much, Carl. Audiences are still sinking their teeth into the fourth Twilight movie. This weekend's box office numbers start us off in tonight's buzz. Breaking Dawn Part 1 topped the charts for the third week in a row, bringing in $16.9 million in ticket sales. The best-selling vampire franchise has made close to $600 million globally. There's still one more movie coming out next year to end the series. The Muppets came in second place, pulling in $11.2 million for their first movie since 1999. And third, Martin Scorsese's 3D flick Hugo with $7.6 million. Rounding out fourth and fifth were Arthur Christmas and Happy Feet 2, respectively. Madonna will be taking the stage on football's biggest night. It's confirmed the superstar will be performing during halftime at the Super Bowl on February 5th. The Grammy Award-winning singer will collaborate with a team from Cirque du Soleil and artists from Moment Factory for the much-anticipated musical event. More than 162 million Americans tuned in to see the Black Eyed Peas perform with Slash and Usher last season. The only man convicted in Michael Jackson's death is planning to appeal. Dr. Conrad Murray filed an appeal notice Friday after his involuntary manslaughter conviction this week. A judge sentenced him to 4 years in an L.A. jail. Officials say Murray signed his own appeal notice and has not yet hired a lawyer to represent him.
Does it all sound like this? Then you need Cliff's Muffler Shop.
Daily Pulse question: which seasonal greeting do you say? Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays? And in our postcard from the UP, some scenes of a Marquette home decorated for the holidays.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Culligan.
It's time for the results of our Daily Pulse question. Tonight we asked, which seasonal greeting do you say? Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays? Here's how you voted. 89% of you say Merry Christmas, while 11% say Happy Holidays. Hank Paul commented on our website, "It is Merry Christmas. It gets sickening having a couple of people controlling and changing things to their point of view. Merry Christmas to all." Jeremy Bowden commented on our Facebook page, saying it either way shouldn't really offend anyone. "I will always say Merry Christmas, but I'm not about to try to tell people what to say. It's a free country." Thanks to everyone who voted and commented tonight, and be sure to vote in our next Daily Pulse question. You can find the Daily Pulse on our website, uppermichigansource.com. In tonight's postcard from the UP, we leave you with some scenes of a Marquette home decorated for the holidays. Thank you so much for watching Fox UP News. Join us again tomorrow night at 10.